The air in Manhattan's Sapphire Lounge was thick with sweat, laughter, and the pulse of a bass line that shook the walls. I stood in the corner, clutching a lukewarm soda, watching bodies sway under flickering neon lights. My heart raced, not from the music, but because I'd just seen him walk in. My boss, Gabriel Navarro, the coldest man in New York City. My name's Riley Carter, 25, non-binary, and barely surviving as Gabriel's assistant at Navarro and Associates, a cutthroat PR firm in Midtown. For 6 months, I'd been invisible to him. A ghost who scheduled his meetings, fetched his coffee, and endured his clipped, "Do better, Carter." He was 38, a towering Latino man with sharp cheekbones and eyes like polished obsidian, always in tailored suits that screamed power. I'd spent half a year trying to crack his icy exterior, but he barely looked at me. Until tonight. Here I was, in a glittering silver crop top and leather pants, worlds away from the muted cardigans I wore at the office. Sapphire Lounge was my sanctuary, a gay bar in the village where I could dance and forget the grind. I hadn't expected Gabriel to show up, his navy blazer stark against the club's chaotic vibrance. He stood by the bar, scanning the crowd, and I prayed he wouldn't see me. But then our eyes locked, and my stomach dropped. I ducked behind a group of drag queens, their sequined gowns shielding me as I wove through the crowd. Why was he here? Gabriel wasn't the type to slum it in a place like this. He belonged in sterile boardrooms, not dive bars with sticky floors. My mind raced with worst-case scenarios. Was he following me? Did he know I came here? I'd kept my personal life locked tight, never mentioning my identity or my nights at Sapphire. At work, I was just Riley, the assistant who never complained. "Riley!" A voice called over the music. It was Jamie, my best friend, a 27-year-old trans woman with a mane of auburn curls and a wicked grin. She grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the dance floor. "Stop hiding and dance with me." "I can't," I hissed, glancing back. Gabriel was still there, now sipping a drink, his gaze sweeping the room. "My boss is here." Jamie's eyes widened. "Mr. Ice King? Oh, this I gotta see." She tugged harder, ignoring my protests. "Come on, show him what you've got." Before I could argue, she dragged me into the throng of dancers. The DJ switched to a sultry remix of a pop anthem, and my body moved on instinct. I'd always loved dancing. It was freedom, a way to shed the weight of the world. My hips swayed, arms flowing with the beat, and for a moment, I forgot Gabriel. The crowd cheered, and Jamie spun me, laughing. I felt alive, untouchable. Then I saw him again. Gabriel stood frozen, his drink halfway to his lips, staring right at me. Not with his usual indifference, but with something else, something raw, unguarded. My breath caught and I stumbled mid-step. Jamie caught me, whispering, "He's watching you like you're the only one here." "Don't be ridiculous," I muttered, but my cheeks burned. I turned away, focusing on the music, letting it pull me back into the rhythm. But I could feel his eyes, a weight I couldn't shake. The next morning, I dragged myself into the office, my head pounding from too little sleep and too much adrenaline. The fluorescent lights of Navarro and Associates felt like an assault after the warm chaos of Sapphire. I wore my usual armor, a gray cardigan, slacks, my curls tamed into a low bun. Professional, invisible. Gabriel was already in his corner office, his door ajar. I braced myself for the usual morning routine, handing him his coffee, reciting his schedule, and dodging his critiques. But when I knocked and stepped inside, he looked up from his desk, and his eyes lingered on me longer than usual. "Morning, Carter," he said, his voice softer than I'd ever heard it. "Coffee?" I handed him the cup, my fingers brushing his for a split second. A jolt ran through me, and I pulled back, flustered. "Your schedule's on your tablet. First meeting's at 9:30 with the Clarkson account." He nodded, but his gaze didn't waver. "You were at Sapphire last night." My heart stopped. I opened my mouth, then closed it, scrambling for a response. Yeah, I go there sometimes." "You dance," he said, not a question. His tone wasn't accusing, but it wasn't warm either, just curious. "You're good." I blinked, unsure if I'd heard him right. A compliment? From Gabriel Navarro. Thanks," I mumbled, my face hot. "I should get back to." "Why do you hide it?" he interrupted, leaning back in his chair. His dark eyes studied me, like he was seeing me for the first time. "The way you move, the way you light up. You're not like that here." I froze, caught off guard. "This is work," I said carefully. "I'm just doing my job." He frowned, like my answer didn't satisfy him. "Right? Your job." He waved a hand, dismissing me. "Get the Clarkson files ready." I nodded and fled, my pulse racing. What the hell was that? Gabriel had never asked me anything personal, never shown interest beyond my ability to file reports on time. I spent the rest of the morning in a daze, replaying his words. "Why do you hide it?" Like he'd seen something in me I didn't even know I was hiding. By lunch, I was a mess. I slipped into the break room, hoping for a moment of peace, but Jamie texted me. "Spill. What happened after I left? Did Ice King say anything?" I typed back. "He saw me dance. Now he's acting weird." Her reply came instantly. "Weird how? Like, I'm into you weird?" I snorted, shoving my phone away. Gabriel Navarro into me? The man who barely remembered my name half the time? No way. But as I ate my sandwich, I couldn't shake the memory of his eyes on me. Intense and searching. Like he'd seen a version of me I didn't let out in daylight. That night, I went back to Sapphire. I told myself it was because I needed to dance, to shake off the weirdness of the day. But deep down, I wondered if he'd show up again. The bar was packed, the air electric with a drag show in full swing. I wore a bold red tank top, my curls loose, feeling braver than I had in months. I was mid-dance with a stranger, a cute guy named Mateo, 28, with a warm smile and a denim jacket, when I felt that familiar weight again. Gabriel. He was back, standing near the bar, watching me. This time, he didn't look away when I caught him. He raised his glass slightly, a ghost of a smile on his lips. Mateo noticed. "Friend of yours?" he asked, nodding toward Gabriel. "My boss," I said, my voice tight. Mateo raised an eyebrow but didn't push, spinning me into the next song. I tried to lose myself in the music, but Gabriel's presence was a magnet, pulling my focus. When the song ended, I excused myself and made my way to the bar, my heart pounding. "What are you doing here?" I asked, sliding onto the stool next to him. My tone was bolder than I felt. He shrugged, his eyes flicking over my outfit. "Curious. This place, it's different." "Different from what?" "Your penthouse parties." I regretted the jab as soon as it left my mouth, but he didn't flinch. "From everything," he said quietly. "You're different here." I swallowed, unsure how to respond. "This is me," I said finally. "Not the assistant version. The real one." He nodded like he was piecing something together. "I didn't know." "You didn't ask?" I shot back, then softened. "Why are you really here, Gabriel?" He hesitated, his fingers tightening around his glass. I saw you last night, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. About you. My breath caught. The noise of the bar faded, and for a moment, it was just us, me raw and exposed, and him unguarded for the first time. I wanted to ask what he meant, but fear held me back. Instead, I stood. Dance with me. His eyes widened. I don't dance. Then learn, I said, holding out my hand. He stared at it, then at me, and something shifted in his expression. He took my hand, and I led him to the floor. Gabriel was stiff at first, his movements awkward under the pulsing lights. But as the music swelled, he loosened, following my lead. I guided his hands to my waist, and we moved together, clumsy but real. His touch was warm, tentative, and his eyes never left mine. The crowd faded, and it was just us, swaying to a rhythm that felt like it belonged to us alone. You're not as bad as you think, I teased, my voice barely audible over the music. He laughed, a rare, low sound that sent a shiver through me. You're a good teacher, Riley. We danced for 3 songs, each one pulling us closer. His hands steadied on my hips, and I felt the weight of his gaze, not cold now, but warm, searching. When the DJ slowed the tempo, I leaned into him, my head resting against his chest. His heartbeat was steady, grounding me. Why do you hide? He asked again, his voice soft against my ear. I don't. I lied, then sighed. It's easier. At work, I'm just there. Here, I'm me. He pulled back slightly, looking down at me. I see you now. My throat tightened. I wanted to believe him, but years of keeping myself small made me wary. What does that mean? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he brushed a curl from my face, his fingers lingering. It means I was wrong about you, and I'm sorry. I stared at him, stunned. Gabriel Navarro didn't apologize. Ever. Before I could respond, he leaned down, his lips brushing mine. A question, not a demand. I answered by kissing him back, soft and hesitant, then deeper, the world falling away. The next week at work was a tightrope. Gabriel was still my boss, still sharp and demanding, but there were moments, his hand lingering when I passed him a file, a quiet good work, Riley, that felt like a secret. I caught myself watching him, wondering what he was thinking, wondering if that night at Sapphire had changed him as much as it had changed me. On Friday, he called me into his office. My stomach knotted, expecting a return to his old coldness. Instead, he closed the door and stepped closer, his eyes soft. I want to do this right, he said. You and me, outside of this place. I blinked, my heart racing. You're my boss, Gabriel. This is complicated. I know, he said, his voice steady. But I've spent years building walls. You make me want to tear them down. I swallowed, emotions swirling. Fear, hope, longing. What if it doesn't work? Then we try anyway, he said, stepping closer. Because you're worth it, Riley. You always were. I didn't have words, so I kissed him. Right there in his office, the Manhattan skyline glittering behind us. It wasn't perfect, and it wouldn't be easy. 2 people, one a guarded executive, the other a non-binary dreamer, navigating a world that didn't always understand. But in that moment, I felt seen not just as an assistant, but as me. And that was enough.